And we are live. Welcome everybody to the Like Things Do Stuff podcast. I'm so pleased that you decided to click on and listen in today. To get one thing out of the way, I just wanted to let the team know that this podcast is coming to you via a sore throat. So hang in there. I'm going to hang in there myself, but hopefully this is something that you can enjoy because I've got an epic thing to discuss today. Something that I'm truly passionate about, something I'm sure that you'll be interested to find more about, and possibly something that you might consider taking up yourself. I don't know why I've just been secretive about it in the first few words that I've said, because you'll have seen it already. You've clicked on. You know that this week's episode is about the ukulele, a small little instrument which has crazy origins that has made its way into popular culture even today in 2018. So, what to expect from this episode? First things first, you're going to find out some of the history about the ukulele. And interestingly, one of the first things we're going to get into on the other side of the intro music is whether I'm actually calling it the right thing. Is it a ukulele? Is it pronounced ukulele? And what are the two schools of thought around that? We're also going to be looking to how it came to prominence from the 19th century to today. We're going to look at the way that it's made or been made over the years and certain materials that are used. We're going to look at the makeup of the ukulele and the way that it's been played indifferently way back in the 19th century to current day today. We're going to look into how you can get into playing the ukulele and, more interestingly, how you can get into playing any musical instrument. The way that we're going to do that is we're going to look in to see what the benefits are of playing an instrument at home. And I'll be really honest with you, with the like things do stuff attitude adopted, that doesn't mean by next week we expect people to be playing Beethoven on the piano. I'm talking we can go from drumming on the kitchen side to playing the most epic instrument or something you've ever wanted to in your whole life. And you know what? There's never no shame in getting an air guitar out as well. So, without further ado, let's have it. Welcome to the Like Things Do Stuff podcast. Alright guys, we're on the other side of the music. Hope you feel hyped and ready for this episode. So, first things first, ukulele. How do you say ukulele or ukulele? So straight off the bat for me, I call it a ukulele. All I've ever known it as is a ukulele. That's all I've ever heard in my past. So when I'm playing it or I'm pointing at the instrument out to someone or describing it, I use ukulele. Doing some research for the show and looking back to the origins of the instrument, I can see that it is also called an ukulele. Now, ukulele is the traditional way of naming the instrument by people in Hawaii. Ukulele stands for leaping flea. So the uke is flea and the lele is leaping. The origins of why it was called that appears to be when playing the instrument, you have to move your fingers quite quickly around a very small fretboard, and it's believed that your fingers look like leaping fleas on the instrument whilst you're playing it. The ukulele, or ukulele, tends to be recognised under both names under all dictionaries, and to be honest, most people that I've spoken to and most of my research points to it being called both. So, in reality, unless you're an absolute purist or you're dead against it being called a ukulele, I don't think it really matters which one you use. But for me, I call it a ukulele, and for the purposes of today's episode, I will continue to refer to it as a ukulele. Alright team, so ukulele. When I think ukulele, I'm thinking Hawaii. I'm thinking sun, sea, grass skirts. I'm thinking awesome, relaxed music, surfing, cocktails in a coconut, all of that. Now, you wouldn't be wrong either if that's what you automatically thought when you think about the ukulele. Now, if your thoughts were that it originally came from Hawaii, you would be wrong. And you know what? I did not know that before researching for the show. The ukulele has come a long way. It was subject to a lot of creativity, adaptation and redesign, and it actually started life in Portugal. A Portuguese instrument known as the machete de Braga, or machete for short. I hope I've said that right. So Machete de Braga is translated as small guitar from Braga. It was a small strummed instrument, so had strings on it, and it was believed to be introduced to the people of Hawaii by Portuguese immigrants in the 19th century. They came over to work in Hawaii on the sugarcane fields. That's like 125 years ago, and it would have been the first melodic instrument the people of Hawaii would have ever heard. Before that, a lot of their original instruments played in the country were percussion based. So it was the first thing that they ever heard that had a major melody, and I suppose really ultimately a chilled vibe. The people on the island of Hawaii started to hear this instrument be played. The original instrument, so the machete, isn't too dissimilar to a ukulele that we know today and a ukulele that was formed back then. It was the same sort of size, same sort of makeup, so it had, a guitar head, a small fret, a small body, and strings. The Machete de Braga tended to have more strings than a ukulele. A ukulele has 4 strings. And to be honest with you, the only other real major changes from the machete going into the ukulele was the tuning, which we'll get into later, and then just the way that it was played. Now, when it was heard played again and again and again, obviously something starts with like a small following that grows and grows, and normally there's something that just goes boom and takes it into everybody's conscience. It gets out and about there and it becomes traditional or popular. Everyone knows about it and everyone wants to get one or get involved. Now, that actually happened with the ukulele through the royal family in Hawaii. It was King David Kalakua. Now, again, I hope that I've said that right. He was a king in the royal family over in Hawaii, an accomplished musician who was really into the music and became a very, very talented ukulele player. So he picked it up, he became advanced in it, he played it, so his people played it, and essentially the ukulele became Hawaii's national instrument. So there you go, guys, a little bit of history on the ukulele and how it came to be. Later in the episode, we're also going to be going into how it rose to sort of like popular level and became a consumer item over in, the US and the UK and essentially around the world. But first things first, I've got a ukulele here and I'm just going to walk through with you guys what it looks like. So it's a small guitar, as we've said before, with 4 strings. It's a portable instrument, and you know what? In all honesty, you can play absolutely anything on it. And again, being really, really honest, it actually looks more impressive to play something really complex on a small instrument than it even does on a guitar. I also play the guitar, but I have found myself using the ukulele more and more. So let's start at the top. It's got a small guitar head, similar to a guitar, with 4 tuning pegs. The 4 strings then run down a fretboard. On mine, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got about 13 or 14 frets that I can actually reach to with my fingers as there's no cutaway in the body. We've got the typical figure of 8 shaped body that you would see on a guitar, but a lot smaller, and I play it with nylon strings. I did actually upgrade the strings on mine because the ones that it came with weren't particularly good. I would definitely recommend, no matter, if you decide to have, get a ukulele or already have one, I would really look into upgrading the strings. That's whether you spend £20 or £20 million. It's just something good to do and do your research on. Well, now guys, what I would like to show you is how a ukulele should sound, fingers crossed, when it's tuned correctly. Here we go. What a lovely sound. The tuning of that is the standard tuning, which is G, C, E, A, is what you heard as I strum the instrument there. To go into it a little bit more, it's actually a G4, C4, E4, A4. Now, like any stringed instrument and, multiple songs that we all know, love and listen to, you can have different tunings. For me, I've never actually wandered beyond the standard tuning, but doing the research for this show, I'm playing the ukulele a little bit more this week, if I'm honest, which really is what I wanted to achieve for myself and hopefully inspiring others for whatever instrument you want to play. I'm thinking that I'd like to look into learning some other tunings and other songs. So let's get into the construction. The ukulele is generally made of wood. it could have been made of sort of other materials, especially after it came from prominence. So when it went over to the US and the UK, I know around the 1950s, there was a lot of, plastic things being made. There was a big boom in regards to sort of plastic toys or things made of plastic. So, it could have been made of plastic, but typically sort of cheaper models tend to be made of sort of like plywood or like laminate. But the more sort of, hardcore or traditional, more expensive ukuleles are made of sort of solid hardwoods. So a super legit wood that they tend to be made from is mahogany. And that's the construction. I've had a couple myself. I've had a cheaper ukulele that was, definitely sort of a plywood, laminate, which was under £20. And in all fairness, worked really well. And it's something I still play today. I have one that's a little bit more legit. So one that's slightly more expensive. It's made of a hardwood and it sounds really good. So to box this off, guys, it's a small instrument, a small string instrument that has the head, the neck, which is the fretboard, a figure of 8 body, 4 strings, standard tuning, G, C, E, A, done. Now, I've spoken a lot about the ukulele, which is the point of today's episode. But really, that was the thing that I liked. I liked playing it, I liked finding out about it, and I want to concentrate on doing stuff now. So we can kind of put the ukulele to one side. And what I really wanted to sort of discuss with the team was just playing an instrument at home. There are major, major benefits to playing a musical instrument. There are physical benefits, mental and cognitive benefits, social benefits, definitely social benefits, because I'll be honest with you, I only ever picked up a guitar in the first place to impress people, and there are also emotional benefits to it. I think if it's something that you really want to do, I've met a lot of people, over my time here that are accomplished and fantastic, musicians, really enjoy it, get a lot out of it. I know people that have played instruments back in the day and find it difficult to get the time now. But I've also met people that are in their 50s and 60s and all they've ever wanted to do was learn an instrument and they felt like it was unattainable or they had other responsibilities, not enough time, or the typical thing that comes out that stops people from doing stuff is that, well, I couldn't do it, I'm not good enough. Now, while researching for this episode, I came across a quote that I really liked, and it is that the distance between your dreams and reality is measured by action. So if you're thinking about playing an instrument, a brand new instrument, whether it's that you used to play one back in the day or you just want to increase how much you play and get better, let's take action. The physical benefits of playing a musical instrument are massive. I mean, all we have to do first is look at the live performers that we all love and enjoy. The amount of people that you see coming off the stage, absolutely dripping with sweat. Now, I know that that's because, the lights are on, it's a workout, it's a performance. But you know what? There's no reason why you can't do that at home. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've really been getting into playing something. Physically, I'm actually in my living room, but in my mind, I'm playing, in a massive arena in front of thousands of people who never knew that I had this hidden talent, which is actually one of my favourite things about playing music at home, is just, imagining and sort of, dreaming and going down that path, which is always fun and a nice escape. But, when we talk about physically, you are moving. A lot of the instruments that I play, which are like string-based instruments, you're moving like your hands, your arms. If you play in the drums, you're really, really going for it. With the piano, you're also moving your feet for the pedals or maybe the bass drum. So at the end of the day, you are moving and using your body, which can only be a positive and only be good. I think for me, one of the things that I've found is actually playing the piano and guitar and ukulele, of course, over the years, it given me sort of extra dexterity, or if there's something that I needed sort of rhythm for to physically move for, so that could have gone and transcended into when I've played football before or skateboarding. All of these things, I suppose, is when we are using our bodies, there are always transferable skills, so there are massive physical benefits to playing an instrument. So the mental and cognitive benefits of playing a musical instrument are massive as well. I'm not going to claim that I'm like super smart because I've always played music, but there must be something in there that sort of helps you out. So really stripping it back, I suppose you are learning a new skill. You are carving neurological pathways into your brain, which is fantastic because one, you're increasing your knowledge and skills, but also you're sort of looking at like discipline. it's not easy to learn something. I'll be honest with you, the benefits, outweigh it, because when you get it right, or you learn a new song, or you get that note, or you play it a bit sweeter, it is amazing, and you get that massive rush and a feel-good factor. But it is hard, and overcoming that, going through that resistance is a big thing, and it's something that you can take into your own life as well. If there's something that you're struggling to deal with, or something that you want to get sorted, when you've had that chill time to think, but you've also been regimented with yourself and you've learnt something new, you can take that over and conquer absolutely anything. There's been recent studies as well that show that there are chemicals released in our brains from one, listening to music, and two, playing music, which literally do make us smarter and can help people become better at sort of reasoning and mathematical problems. Now, the most important thing really is the social aspect. Now, we live in a day and age where we have the internet. So there are people all around the world that are in different camps that all love different things and get into their own groups. So first things first, socially, you can get involved and meet new people online. You can learn more from them if it's a certain instrument that they're playing, a certain genre of music that they like and you like as well. So it's a good way to sort of meet people, which you could potentially do online, or at least actually find more about, different songs, different ways of playing on things like YouTube and Instagram. For me, over the years, any instrument that I've played or picked up, I've actually tend to learn the most from YouTube. I've virtually had full lessons from the videos that you can watch. And at this point, I just wanted to point out one particular thing that has really helped me with the ukulele, because, that is what the episode is about today. There is a YouTube channel which is called The Ukulele Teacher. Now, the guy who does it is brilliant. I've learned loads about the instrument, but it's a really quick, short, sharp way to learn how to play some of your favourite songs so you can strum along and sing along. It's really good and I'd recommend it to everyone. But socially, if we come away from the internet, just with our friends, hanging out with our friends, maybe around a campfire, which is something that I love, is to get out and sort of camp and you can strum a tune. Maybe you're having a few drinks and you're hanging out in the kitchen, a ukulele or a guitar or a keyboard comes out and everyone can sort of sing along and you feel that sort of one tribe, if you will. You're all there having a good time together, maybe singing a song that you all like or something from back in the day that you all remember. The other thing is as well, is it's just a common ground to have. When you're out and about and you're meeting new people, whether that's at work, whether that's through friends, whether it's through other events that you go to, it's another thing to talk about. Some people sort of go out and they're like, oh, I'm a little bit worried about meeting new people. I'm not interesting. I don't know what to talk about. But if you've got an interest in a musical instrument or music in general, and it's something that you're learning, I think you'll tend to find that other people are interested and they would love to hear all about how you're doing and how you're getting on. And at this point, I suppose it's important to say that if you are, tell people. That's what I'm trying to do today. I absolutely love playing music. I don't do it to a particularly high standard, but I really, really enjoy it. So if you do, tell others so they can experience it the same, and we can really meet that ethos of this podcast of inspiring and using our energy to get others to get involved in liking and doing things that they want to do. That leads us into the final benefit that I'd already spoken about, which is the emotional benefits of playing a musical instrument. Now, for me, the emotional benefits are, and from doing some research, is purely just mindfulness. When you're playing a musical instrument, all you do is you think about that one thing there at that time. Now, mindfulness, as many of you may know, and I will be doing future episodes on it, is about trying to just relax that muscle which is our brains in this busy world that we find ourselves in. So, picking up a ukulele, for example, and just trying to learn some songs, maybe singing a few that I know, for that 10 minutes to sometimes an hour, I can completely lose everything that's going on around me, and it really gives you a chance to just chill out, concentrate on one thing, just relax that muscle that is your brain and just enjoy doing something. So for me, the emotional benefits are massive. I can't tell you how much of a component I am for mindfulness, and one of the best ways to do that is through playing music yourself at home. There's one final benefit that I really wanted to talk to you guys about, and really it's that playing a musical instrument can become a hobby. And when you have a hobby, what you can do is you can start indulging in every aspect of it. So when you're playing a musical instrument, there's loads of cool sort of like gadgets and things that come with it. So it might be that you're able to upgrade a current instrument or get a brand new one. But also it can become part of your identity. You know, you can start to have like guitar mugs, or like, you know, there might be a make of a piano that you've got on a t-shirt. And, you know, people know that's who you are and what you're about. You know, I remember once I was like walking around with a Fender t-shirt on way back in the day, and I had to go to like this function, and one guy looked over at me, saw the t-shirt, and I was like, you know, and he was like, yeah, I know. And ultimately, I suppose that you sort of connect there. But really, I just love all like the trinkets, the cool bits that you can get to go along with it. You know, I love a bit of merch, I suppose, if I'm honest. So, you know, there are other benefits to it as well, is that it can become sort of like a collecting thing, as well as playing the music and as well as meeting people as well. And of course, getting those physical, mental, cognitive and social benefits. Every single instrument then becomes a blueprint. So anything that you play, it is what it is. But then what you can do is you can add your own individuality and creativity to it. You essentially are going to be holding or sitting at something where you can just spin a web of sound, whether that's just around how you're feeling at that point, whether it's that you're into writing sort of lyrics or melodies or just, you know, instrumental music with it. It's something that you can make you. It's an extension of you. You know, everything from like a great grand piano to a tie-dye ukulele, from someone who wants to just write instrumental music to someone who wants to write their own lyrics in any different genre that they want to. You know, playing a musical instrument also becomes an extension of who you are and how you interact with the world. So team, let's just do it. If you've never played a musical instrument before and you've always wanted to do it, obviously I would recommend the ukulele as a really good way to get started. But anything that you want to play, just do it. Let's remove all of the barriers to you being able to get there and achieve everything that you want to do. Tell yourself that you can do it. Tell yourself that you've got enough time, and make sure that you get out there and achieve everything that you want to through music and learning an instrument. Now, for those of you out there who have played musical instruments in the past and maybe haven't picked it up for a while, dust off that guitar case, go and get the violin out the loft. Or do you know what, you rockers out there, set up your drum kit in the garage, maybe get some mates over. If not, play some tunes, rock out and rage and just enjoy, and be really mindful and escape from a few of the things in life that you're finding difficult, and just enjoy yourself. It's really important that we make time for ourselves to go out there and just do things that we really enjoy to do. I hope you enjoyed the episode today. No matter what platform you're listening to the podcast on today, don't forget to subscribe, hit notifications, and rock us some comments. It leaves me one final thing to say. No matter where you are or what you're doing, don't forget to like things and do stuff. Now bring that cowbell.